Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Good evening. Good day for those of you listening online. Welcome to Chicago and Ignite. I'm super happy to be here in person again and seeing a lot of familiar faces out there. You are in the Grow Your CRM Practice in the Age of AI session. I'm Keith Ovra. I lead our partner marketing strategy for our customer engagement portfolio, which is inclusive of sales, marketing, and service. And I'm here today with two of my colleagues that'll come up on stage, Girish Smith and Matt Davis, and they'll introduce themselves as they come up. Reminder, this is a partner-focused session. We're going to be looking at things through the lens of a partner. If you're not a partner, you're welcome to stay, but that's what we're focusing on here today. We're going to talk about a few things in this session. I'm going to take a look at CRM transformation and AI and our FY25 go-to-market approach and partner investments. I'll then hand off to Matt, who's going to specifically talk to the investments we're making in workshops, or what we refer to as funded engagements, and best practices around those engagements. And then Girish is going to wrap us up sharing some insights in how you can effectively partner with our Microsoft field and building effective partnerships and relationships there. And remaining time in the session, we'll do Q&A. If you don't answer your question here, you can find us on LinkedIn, you can reach out to us via email, or you can find us up here after the session. I don't think I need to tell this group, right? AI is bringing about a fundamental change, and it's shifting the way that we all do business, impacting every individual, every process, every organization, and every industry. And it's changing business applications for everyone who supports customers. You know, for as long as any of us can remember, business applications like CRM have looked the same, juggling multiple apps between CRM, between email, between chats, notes, browser, and Dynamics 365 unites data across sales, marketing, and customer service. And with embedded Copilot capabilities, which we're going to take a look at in this session, as well as native integration with Microsoft 365, applications, marketers, sellers, service agents can be even more productive and efficient, leading to better customer outcomes. And to illustrate the transformation that AI is bringing into the CRM space, I want to share a quick video.
Say goodbye to your siloed legacy CRM and say hello to Microsoft Dynamics 365, your one-stop AI-powered customer experience platform that'll make it easier for your employees to wow your customers. Data analytics teams ready to make your data work smarter, not harder? Dynamics 365 preps your data for AI, so you can focus on insights, not spreadsheets. Sales and marketing teams meet the world's first Copilot in CRM, streamlining your daily workflows, so you can spend more time engaging with customers and less time on mundane tasks. Customer service agents turn service calls into fan clubs with a solution that transforms customers into your biggest advocates, with easy access to case resolutions. And because it's Dynamics 365, you get the full power of the unified Microsoft ecosystem, Microsoft Teams, Outlook, and more, all seamlessly integrated into your flow of work. With Dynamics 365, you're not just closing deals, you're fostering relationships. Understand your customers like never before, personalize experiences, and watch your pipeline grow. So let's get down to business with Dynamics 365.
As I chose that video for this session, I was like, the rooster at the beginning is perfect for the afternoon. And so, you know, as the video said there, right, you know, getting down to business with Dynamics 365. And we all know that delivering great customer experiences starts with a foundation of having that 360-degree view of the customer for every role, at every touch point. And marketing, sales, and service functions need to be connected so they each understand the prior interactions with the customers, how they've engaged through different channels. On the sales side, Dynamics 365 Sales uses Copilot as an assistant to bring next generation AI into Dynamics 365 and Microsoft 365. On the service side, Dynamics 365 Contact Center is a Copilot first solution that brings intelligence, automation, efficiency through every engagement channel. And it was built not only to work with Dynamics 365, but other third-party CRMs as well. And Copilot, combining the power of large language models with business and customer data both inside and outside the organization, really democratizes that ability to deliver that contextualized journey for the customer, the marketer, and the service agent. And why is this so powerful? Right? It's that consistent experience and interface from Copilot across all platforms. So we know there's some sellers out there that work in the CRM. They're analyzing forecasts and opportunity data. But what we also know is most sellers don't do that, right? They're doing the opposite. They're spending their time meeting with customers. They're communicating with customers elsewhere in Teams or in Outlook. And Copilot provides that comprehensive solution to adapt to either scenario and to meet, say, the seller where they are and how they're working. And so the power is really in the hands of the seller with Copilot. And that's something that's really powerful. And, as partners, I know you're eager to hear customer stories and examples, and we strive to bring those to you. But as customer zero, as Microsoft, we see the power of Copilot in our own sellers. And this information is in a published case study. I can point you all to it. But Microsoft has over 35,000 sales employees in over 200 countries. And a survey of our own sellers has shown 79% reduction in administrative work. 67% telling us they're spending more time with customers. That's where we want them to be, with customers. 67% spending more time. And on average, they're telling us they're saving 90 minutes per week. That's a tremendous value across 35,000 employees. Just earlier today, in fact, in Nicole's segment of the keynote, as well as Brian Good's session that was prior to this one a couple hours ago, they mentioned Copilot has led to a 9.4% higher revenue per seller, led 9.4% higher revenue per seller and 20% more deals closed. That's real value right within Microsoft as customer zero. That's the power of Copilot that we see ourselves. But it's not just us, right? Leading consulting companies have looked at the potential impacts of AI for the sales role and have found significant results. Estimated 29% of labor time for sales roles can be automated with generative AI. Another study found implementing generative AI could increase sales productivity 3 to 5%. And 99%, again, back to that other slide, 99% say they're going to reinvest that time with their customers. And there's also long-term impacts on the organization's bottom line. A 50% increase in lead-to-sale conversion rates with the adoption of generative AI. And those that invest in AI seeing a revenue uplift of 3 to 15% and a sales ROI uplift. Right? As both Microsoft and partner, we're always focused on equipping customers with the tools and skills for success. And we're seeing that solution is clearly AI. And I'm going to wrap this first section of the presentation talking a little bit about agents. And you've heard this from Satya, you've heard this thread throughout a lot of sessions today, and you've probably seen this slide. But this is really important. This is something that we all collectively are educating our customers on. How do we think about Copilot and agents? What role do they play? Right? Copilot is that personal private assistant. It works solely for you, right? And it enhances your capabilities as an individual, right? It's that UI for AI. And there's as many Copilots as there are people, really ensuring personalized support for everyone. On the other side are agents, right? That's an expert system that operates autonomously on behalf of a process or a company. So there's significantly more agents than there are people. Every process can have its own comprehensive support and automation. And we've seen some examples throughout the day today. And I'll show you an example here in a moment. But Copilot makes agents more personal to you, while agents make Copilot more capable. So it's all powered by the rich data that brings together the productivity data and the business process data. And it's really, Copilot is how we interact with AI. And one of the 10 agents, you've heard a lot about the agents, hopefully, that we announced a month ago on October 21st. We announced 10 agents. Satya was on stage in the UK at our Road to AI tour and talked about agents and these 10 that we announced. And the one I'm going to share today is the sales qualification agent. We're talking about CRM. I wanted to talk a little bit about sales. This agent helps sellers focus time on building customer relationships. And it works with Dynamics 365 Sales and really frees up that time. But rather than tell you about it, let's take a quick look at it.
As a sales rep, you spend hours on manual tasks like researching leads and writing personalized emails. That's precious time that could be spent closing deals. Say hello to Sales Qualification Agent, your new AI agent that helps you prioritize leads and drive better business outcomes. Let's see how it works with Dynamics 365 Sales. The agent autonomously researches leads in your pipeline 24/7. It analyzes multiple data sources and flags the hottest prospects for you. With just one click, you can learn why a particular lead is prioritized based on research data synthesized from CRM records, third-party data, and public web sources. When you're ready to reach out, the agent has already drafted a personalized email. A quick review, a couple edits, and you are ready to hit send. And just like that, you're ready to move on to the next prioritized lead. With the Sales Qualification Agent, you'll never miss a beat. More meetings, more deals, more wins.
I don't know about you, but if I'm a seller, I'm demanding this agent, working on my behalf all around the clock. I don't even have to ask it to do anything. It's there with that information when I want it. The Sales Qualification Agent is going to be in public preview in March of 2025 and generally available in the first half of the next calendar year, 2025 calendar year. And I don't want to miss on the service side. We have a similar video for service. I can point you to it, but I'm not going to share it here today. But customer intent and customer knowledge management agents are designed to transform the contact center experience across both self-service as well as human-assisted service. And the case management agent for customer service automates those key tasks throughout the customer lifecycle, the case lifecycle, to reduce handle time, and alleviate that burden on service representatives. And collectively, these agents are trained to autonomously learn how to address new and emerging issues, via self-service, improving the quality of issue resolution across channels, and helping drive time and cost savings. So these are also coming both to public preview here in December, from December through February. So you'll hear more on these as the months go by. But what does all that mean to you as a partner community, right? It's, hey, agents are great, AI, we get it. How does this come into my business, right? And what we're hearing from partners such as yourselves, what we're hearing from customers, what we're hearing from our field is they need you. Customers need you. They need you as an advisory to help them and coach them how to use AI and Copilot, how to get ready to deploy AI. Most importantly, perhaps, adoption and change management. We know that the value of Copilot shines through when you use it, right? And you have to use it, and you have to use it, and you have to understand how it brings value into your work. And they need your help with that adoption and with that change. It's not just something that happens overnight. They need you as partners to help with that. And perhaps most importantly, one of the biggest opportunities is that extensibility piece. We've talked a lot at Ignite thus far about Copilot Studio and other ways that you can help customers build agents, right? So that extensibility piece, learning and deeply understanding your customer and their industry and their geography and what their unique needs are, and helping them extend AI and Copilot into those unique needs. That's your opportunity. Now, to shift gears just a little bit, and we're going to get more into the funded engagement side of the house, as we talk more about the partner opportunities and investments, I wanted to ground us here in how we go to market with solution plays. And hopefully you're familiar with this. But this is how we as Microsoft group technologies into customer-centric solutions that focus on key personas and business outcomes. And these priorities are updated each fiscal year with inputs from our marketing team, from our engineering team, from our field team, from you all as partners. And we take all of that and we build it into solution plays, and that's our primary go-to-market motion. And why is this important? Because all of our content, our investment, our materials align to these solution plays. In this fiscal, we have 6 in business applications. Right? CRM, what we're talking about today, is encapsulated in Accelerate Revenue Generation and Modernize Service. Accelerate Revenue Generation is really that unification of sales, marketing, and service, and inclusive of Dynamics 365 Sales and Customer Insights. And Customer Service Modernization offers that complete customer service solution and is inclusive of D365 Customer Service, Field Service, and Contact Center. And again, these are our go-to-market, and this is how we make decisions and go-to-market. And so hopefully you heard in that session, Judson and Nicole had a great chat on stage, and Judson touched on this, right? We're making more investments in partners than we ever have, right? And this is how we go to market with those investments, is through these solution plays. And then we take those plays and we align it to the stages of the sales journey, what we call the Microsoft Customer Engagement Methodology, or MSEM, you might hear it referred to as. And we have investments in each stage of the sales journey, from marketing campaigns in a box that you all can take advantage of, to other investments, migration tooling, and things of that nature. Today, though, we're going to focus on one of these. These and many more are available to you. Funded engagements is something that we're really excited about, and has been a shift we've had brought some new energy into funded engagements this year. And so today, in the short time we have, we are going to focus there. And why are we focusing there? Because we know opportunities within which funded engagements are run, or workshops, have a 36% improvement in win rate over those where one of these is not run. And why? And Matt's going to talk about this in a minute, but the reason why is they're tailored to best practices that we have from our Microsoft team, from our field team, from our partners around the world, and they're aligned to our core initiatives and co-sell motions. And so while Matt makes his way up on stage, I'm going to touch on just a couple quick partner stories that we've collected, some feedback that some of our partners have given us on the value of these. ANS Group, a UK Services Partner of the Year in 2024 and a power user of our funded engagements, they've leveraged these programs to both enable their internal resources, accelerate customer investments, quantify the return, and perhaps most importantly, win competitive opportunities. And T-Tech, they're a partner that has done great work in CX transformation at that convergence of contact center, CRM, and AI. And they've leveraged these programs to nurture leads, accelerate time to close, drive consumption. And use of these engagements, they have felt, has actually strengthened the partnership with our field. And finally, 9 Altitudes is a great European partner leading customer digital transformation, has found our engagements work in concert with their own IP, right? Designed to align business requirements, drive fit gap analysis, comparison against the competition, and as they say here, significantly increasing deal success rates, right? But something I want to call out here, and I'm sure Matt will touch on it as well, is all of these funded engagements, they're designed to provide you as partners with a foundation. You then bring in your own IP, your own industry expertise, your own product expertise, your own geographic expertise, and build on top of these to be successful. So I'm going to hand it off to Matt to talk a little bit more about funded engagements.
Great, thanks, Keith. Hi, my name's Matt Davis. I am a solutions architect with our Worldwide Center of Excellence for Field and Partner. And so we want to talk a little bit, dive in a little bit into these funded engagements. As you can see here, the little bit of a grid aligned to our solution plays. You'll notice again contact center that Keith mentioned, but we're going to really drill into sort of the 3 CRM motions that we have here. So we're going to just take a look in particular at these 3. They're really designed to work kind of dovetailed to each other. So not that we have to go 1, 2, 3, but the idea is that we can sort of move left to right, if you will, and take our customers through the journey, right? So we can start with hello, let's talk about CRM, leading to eventually successful implementation. So just briefly here, we'll talk about each one of these, but starting from the left, our CRM vision and value is really that opportunity to introduce our customers to the CRM stack, right? To understand what that application space looks like, to get them excited about what Microsoft has to offer in that CRM space. And so we want to be able to show them the art of the possible and some of the exciting things that are available in that application space. Then frequently what we find is we've done this, I've done this for years of implementation, which I did before I joined the COE. There's often that need to have that tailored demo, right? So show me some things. I'm not sure it can do this. I'm not sure it can do that, or I'd like to find out more about X, Y, or Z. So we want to give you the tools that you need to be able to build that tailored demo for your customers. That's actually coming, so we'll talk more about that in a little bit. It'll be coming out in January, so I'll give you a little preview. And then finally, CRM planning and design. So that's really where we want to be able to do that scoping exercise, to really understand how we're going to deliver with excellence for our customers. So those are the 3 pieces, if you will, the 3 funded engagements. So we'll talk a little bit about each one of them. So first of all, why CRM vision and value? Well, this is really an opportunity to understand and discover what's going on with our customer, right? So what are their challenges? What are the opportunities there? How can we translate those into scenarios that might be effective for them to move their business forward? We also obviously want to start to drive intent, understand what our customer's intent is, right? Where are they on the journey to move forward with a modern CRM application? And then, of course, we want to develop that baseline of what things might look like. So while we're not going to have necessarily a full-blown business case that's ready for the boardroom by then, we want to start to have those conversations. We want to start to have that baseline conversation around what the value is going to look like when we move forward, okay? So those are key reasons to get engaged early, start to drive that vision, start to understand the baseline for the value conversation, basically, okay? So when we look at this, 3 phases, pretty straightforward. During the assess phase, we want to introduce the engagement, tell our customers what we're going to be doing, make sure we understand who the stakeholders are that we want to engage with, and we're also going to do some discovery. So we'll talk about the questionnaire in a minute, but it's a great opportunity to start to learn what's important to our customers. In the art of the possible, really a chance to showcase Dynamics CRM, Dynamics 365 CRM, marketing, sales, service, customer insights, et cetera. And really just to get the customer excited about what the possibilities are. And then finally, in the build the plan, we're going to just really get to what we'll call a baseline or preliminary business case, so we can start to lay that value conversation, lay down the baseline of that value conversation. And so that's kind of the 3 pieces here. So if you look at the framework for this, each one of these items here, as you can see, is basically a module, right? It's a presentation, it's a motion that we will go through with our customers. First one, assess, pretty simple. We're going to give you, as part of the kit, an assessment questionnaire. Great opportunity to learn about what's going on with your customers. So you'll distribute that questionnaire, you'll ask the customer to return it, not just one, maybe several stakeholders that can complete that. You take that back and take some time to really take a look at it and understand what's going on. There's often terrific insights about what's important to your customer when you get that questionnaire back. So you want to do a little bit of analysis on that. That may produce some opportunity to ask deeper questions, to start to talk about possibilities, to start to talk about why they have this challenge or this opportunity. So that questionnaire is a great first step to start to understand what's happening for your customer. Then we get into art of the possible. So as we work through that, we want to give them that a kickoff, obviously, and then the customer experience reimagined, really kind of a high-level view. CRM in the age of AI, overall view of the Dynamics 365 suite, the business productivity platform so they understand what Power Platform is all about, and of course, Copilot as a transformational technology, right? So kind of that broad view, let's understand what's in the stack, if you will. Then we're going to go a little bit deeper with Dynamics 365 Advantage. And this is really designed to align on customer expectations and the challenges of meeting those expectations. So, the power of the platform, fully integrated with Microsoft 365, so we start to look at that kind of level. The connected experiences across the customer value chain, sales, service, insights. So it's that kind of deeper level, if you will, as we get to the Advantage module. And then we're going to get to a little bit deeper in terms of, as you see across the bottom, these sort of other deep dives, right? So if we want to look a little bit more into sales, we want to look even deeper into customer journeys and marketing or service modernization. So we have the opportunity, we'll talk about those in a second. Then there's also the reverse demo. So this is a chance for our customer to show us, right? What are you doing today? What's going on? What are the challenges that you have? What are some of the things that you like or you don't like about where you're at with CRM today? So we'll get some high-level information about the processes. We'll be able to look at how they structure their data, right? How are they thinking about their CRM data and information? Also a chance to understand a little bit about their operational landscape, if you will, right? Like, how are they doing things today? As we get through this, obviously, we want to continue to collect these insights and understand what's important to our customers and the way that they're operating. So that also gives you a chance to start thinking about how you might start talking about solutioning. A little early for that, but we're going to be having that going on in the back of our mind, right? And then again, the relevant pathway modules down below. One of the things you'll notice is as we get into build the plan, the next phase, seems a little early to talk about solution blueprinting, but it's not too early to at least start having the conversation. So this is really a chance to start laying groundwork for what this might look like in the future. So we want to have this opportunity to kind of get a picture of that, that preliminary landscape. Maybe it's a little bit of an architecture that we can whiteboard. We have the opportunity to have some discussions about important considerations when it comes time to implementation. What are the things that are important to them, right? So we want to capture some of that initial dialogue, discuss application strategy, data considerations again, integrations, really important. We want to understand their enterprise landscape. Are there parts of that landscape, applications that we need to be, knowledgeable of, understand how those fit together? Maybe a little bit of thought about, some environment strategy. We can start to have those kinds of conversations, right? So that when we get out of that, when we're sort of wrapping up this build phase, remember, this is not a full implementation scoping. This is early days, right? But we want to start to understand what are some of the priorities? What are some of those scenarios that are going to be important to them? Key scenarios will come out of this. Again, not all of it, but the things that we know that are important to them. And maybe we can start to think about next steps in terms of, are these things that we want to include? Is there integrations or not? What kind of reporting? What kind of analysis? What kind of analytics they might want to have? And it's a great time to draw some kind of high-level architectural concepts so that they can start to understand what this application space might look like in their environment. Okay? Finally, you'll see the baseline TCO and business case. Again, we want to just start to have that value conversation. So it might not be that it's a full-blown TCO or a full-blown business case, but we want to start to get the conversation going around the fact that we want to partner with them to understand what that looks like. Okay? So that's the CRM framework, vision and value framework. The pathways, again, I mentioned, I won't go into these in real detail, but again, sales accelerations, so a little bit of a deeper dive there, customer journeys, and also the customer service modernization. So they're pretty short in terms of the modules and the content. So perfect opportunity for you to augment. And also, just to kind of, remind us what Keith said, this is an opportunity for you to show your capability, your expertise, to show your knowledge of this platform. And so these are great ways to be able to do that, to bring some of your expertise to bear. So that's the vision and value. Moving on to the second piece, the tailored demo. This is preview. This is not yet available. We're going to be bringing this out in January. But obviously, again, an opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge of the platform, to address customer concerns about functionality or business process alignment, whatever that may be, and identify potential implementation blockers so that we can address them now. And then, of course, we're going to use this as a chance to establish that foundational implementation baseline, if you will, okay? Now we know where we're headed. And also, we're going to show some key parts of the product suite as well. So the CRM tailored demo, again, in development right now, but we'll again go with that pre-engagement questionnaire if we haven't already. If we have, great, we can reuse it. Maybe there's a gap, maybe we need to use this one again. And then we're going to do something called scope and schedule. So the idea with that really is, let's make sure we understand what's going to be in the demo and what's not going to be in the demo, because we don't want to build the whole solution just yet, right? So we want to understand what are the key pieces that we want to demonstrate for our customers, make sure they have clear understanding where there may be lack of clarity, and also, again, show some of the key capabilities of CRM. So we'll do that, and then we'll start to sort of schedule when we're going to do things, and do we have the right people. It's a logistics thing, but it's also a demo scoping exercise. Then the centerpiece here, the center phase, if you will, pretty internal facing for you as partners, right? We're going to design the demo, got to do a little bit of design, make sure we've got data structures and the UI and whatever it may be that we're going to, dashboards that we're going to put together. Data is really important here, right? Can we get customer data? Can we get simulated customer data? Do we understand how they think about their CRM data? So we'll do that. We'll then build the demo. We'll give you guidelines on all of that. And then there's also a demo day presentation template. So you'll get that and prepare that so you can then move on to deliver the demo, do the demo day presentation. That should be the opportunity to, close on any challenges that have been thrown down, right? That they really want to see how this works or that works, and this is your opportunity to do that. As you can see, some of the patterns and practices down below will give you some guidance on best practices for design and build, best practices for delivery, and also a product focus area guide. So that's the tailored demo. The third piece, planning and design engagement. This is really the implementation scoping exercise. We understand that things will potentially change as you get into an implementation, but this really gives you a chance to look at the full scope of the implementation. So this is where we want to really ensure that we have continued alignment with the customer. Very key, right? Very important. That we're continuing to validate the vision that we've developed with them, and that we have the opportunity to build confidence with them around our ability to deliver, how we're going to deliver it, when we're going to deliver it, what that solution is going to look like, and prepare the key activities for delivering the implementation. So good reasons all to do that. In terms of the framework, so this is aligned to Fast Track. So we work with Fast Track team to make sure that we have the success by design framework, mostly the first two phases of success by design. So you'll note here that this begins with the baseline business case and TCO that we sort of talked about earlier on. You may have it, you may not. Maybe it's a straw man. Depends on if you did the first one or two pieces, those first two engagements. But this is a chance to sort of start with that. And then as you can see on the tail end on the right side, we'll kind of come back and iterate through that. But this is truly the scoping exercise, the intent of having a solution blueprint and a statement of work at the end That's the intent here. So we're going to give you guidance on how to do all of that. That's in this package. Also includes guidance on how to do a fit gap analysis, how to talk about in-scope customizations. It's also designed to cover the key elements that drive scope and cost, definition of our in-scope processes, right? A process-driven design concept. We also want to make sure we're covering reporting, testing, training strategies, some of the other elements that are going to engage your resources in delivery. And then you'll see we also have some recommended modules. They're on the bottom there only because you might not always be doing data migration. Frequently you will, but maybe you won't. So there's an optional module there if you will. Integration strategy, again, often we will, not always. Security, ALM, designing for performance. Again, these are often important to the customers. But maybe a more simple implementation as a phase one. And so we give you the opportunity to handle those in a different way. Okay? Also, there's a TCO analysis tool inside of this and guidelines on developing a statement of work. So that's the planning and design engagement. Also note that, again, aligned to Fast Track's process, success by design. So if you happen to be looking for potential Microsoft funding, ESIF funding, those kinds of things, good practice to follow here because it's going to generally provide the things that we'll be looking for when we want to see if you've really got your implementation plan ready to go and that we're able to fund it to help you get that done. Okay? So some key activities here, pre-engagement, kickoff, facilitating the preparation of the pre-engagement questionnaire, that's important, logistics, defining the solution, that's obviously important to scope, identifying in-scope processes, et cetera, and then really just deployment planning. So you can read the slides. I don't want to take up too much time. I want to get my friend Girish up here to talk a little bit more. But you'll see at the end, again, statement of work, that's where we really want to land. And we're giving you all the tools that you should be able to use to get to that point where you have a solid statement of work that you can move forward with. Again, all aligned to success by design, mostly the first two phases of that. Guidance on who should attend. So, clearly we want our revenue salespeople there, service people if that's a focus, CMO marketing leaders, et cetera. So lots of guidance in the delivery guide here. And in terms of best practices, this is kind of what I'll wrap up with. Obviously, you want to make sure you have the technical skills in the room. You want to make sure that you understand and your customer understands what you're going to be delivering at the end of this in any one of these engagements. Use that pre-engagement questionnaire, set expectations early. Aligning the vision all the way through from hello to nice to meet you to let's figure out what the implementation looks like. We want to continue to align, continue to align, continue to align. And make sure that we promote dialogue. So if things change, if things shift, we're able to listen and hear that. And listen for key customer signals that will help you to get that common understanding of the way things should look in the future. And deliver with excellence. Make sure you use the core modules for all of these. There's guided demos, a lot of resources in here in our delivery guides. And, again, an opportunity to provide thought leadership, right, around how you've worked with other customers to be successful in implementing CRM. And finally, set the table, right? Just as we continue to move forward here through these processes, we want to make sure that we're always setting the table for the next piece, right? Okay, we've landed here. Now let's get ready to go do the next thing. So whether it's recommendations, next steps, alignment, those kinds of things. And then lastly, and my friend Girish is going to come up to talk about this, is work with your Microsoft field seller to drive success. They're going to help you. They're going to partner with you. And Girish is going to come up to talk more about that. So those are the 3 CRM-funded engagements that you can execute on. I think there's some great tools in here, some great tooling and opportunities to really align with your customers to have success delivering CRM. And some of our partners have talked about that as well. Journey Team, They've been using these engagements to accelerate the journey, right? To drive usage, uncover opportunities, co-sell with Microsoft. You can see BizApp, our friends from Brazil. They're using this to boost demand generation and accelerate business growth with their customers. And Mint Group, so they have boosted their ability to ideate, advance, and accelerate, and really work with their customers to align for a successful CRM implementation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Girish, and he can talk a little bit more about how to engage with Microsoft.
Excellent. Thanks, Matt.
Yep, thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Girish Smith. I'm part of the Global Partner Solutions team. I focus on the CRM workloads like Keith does, sales and service. So I want to start today by talking about why it is important for Microsoft and partners to work together on deals, right? This shouldn't be a surprise to any of you. If you've been working in the field, you know this, right? Essentially, we are in the business of selling CRM and ERP applications, and there's no customer out there who will buy the product without talking to a partner who successfully implement this solution at customers similar to them, right? There's no customer who would buy that, right? They want to have conversations with the partner before they buy the product. We recognize that, and ever since we've been growing the CRM and ERP businesses, we have brought partners along in that journey, right? We are very serious when we say that Microsoft is a partner-first company. When we design products, when we think about sales motions we put in place, when we think about product marketing campaigns we do, we always think about partners, right? I can throw various stats at you that kind of shows us the success of this. But this is, it's well understood if you're in the business, right? Like recently we did a study of deals that have closed so far in the year, in this fiscal year. And we've seen that deals that had both Microsoft and partners working together had 2.5x win rates compared to deals that did not, right? And this is a stat that I had taken to our sellers as well and kind of talked to them about, right? So this is just reiterating that point. I think one of the earlier speakers had talked about the use of funded engagements increasing win rates by 36%, right, in deals where funded engagements were used by partners. So just reiterating that point, right? I essentially have one slide for you, right? One main slide for you. And the idea with this slide is to kind of talk about the best practices in selling with Microsoft Field, right? I start off with the benefits. A lot of this should be very obvious to you. Microsoft has been in business for a long time. We have penetration in most of the enterprise accounts out there, as well as a lot of the customers in the world. If you partner with Microsoft, you are getting insights into a lot of the customer needs, right? What their pain points are, also to relationships that Microsoft has with these partners, within these customers. So it is in your best interest to kind of plan your sales motions with the Microsoft account executives engaged or the SSPs engaged and think about how we want to go after this account, right? It brings various benefits, right? Like it can bring additional demand, right? Opportunities that you wouldn't have thought of. There could be leads that are shared, both ways between the partner as well as from Microsoft to the partner. And then we've seen doing these things essentially leads to better accelerated sales cycles, right? So those are the kind of benefits, we talk about. But one of the things that I kind of reiterate with our field as well as partners is that it's critical that you do this early in the sales cycle, right? We want to go in front of the customer with a clear, joint plan for how to win the customer, right? A lot of times we run into situations where these teams are figuring out how to position the product with the customer while you're having meetings with the customer, right? So it's always a good idea to have field connections early. So I encourage you to kind of invest the time to set up meetings with the Microsoft field teams and have a clear understanding of the roles and responsibilities and how you want to position the product with that particular customer. You could also have, you can also have an understanding of who's going to do the demo. If you're a partner with a bunch of, specific industry IP or specific geo IP that you bring into the account, right? You want to have that conversation with the Microsoft team early in the process so that you're going into the customer with a, joint message and a joint positioning there, right? There's a bunch of investments that we have done in the space. Like if you've been with the business for a while, you'll realize that last year we had pre-sales activities funds that we had made available. What's different this year is the investment we are making in the content that we are making available with those funds, right? Keith talked about it, Matt talked about it. The reason we are investing so much is we've seen this work very well in the modern workspace, right? Modern Workers has a pattern of using curated content that's been developed by experts from the industry that is packaged up and made available to partners to use with the funds that we make available, the different stages. And they talked about at least 3 different kind of pre-sales engagement funds and content that we made available, right? One was the vision and value workshops, the other was a tailored demo, and the third piece was the planning and design workshops, right? So all 3 things are new things we put in place because we believe that it can make a difference, right? There's a question of how do I make a connection, and many of the partners out here have PDMs. Your managed partners, you have PDMs, right? And what I encourage you to do is utilize your PDM to be a spokesperson with the seller community there, right? We go to the seller community and we talk about our top partners, the partners who've been doing such good work for us. But it's also important that at the local level, you are having the connections, you are showcasing what you're good at. And usually it resonates best if you're able to talk about customer successes you've had, right? And specific to the industry that they are looking to do a deal in, right? That's what works the most, right? For partners who do not have PDMs yet, who are not managed yet, I encourage you to kind of do enough deals on your own to kind of get into Microsoft's radar to become managed, right? That is how the missionary is set up right now. So that is how you get the most benefits of what Microsoft has to offer. The last section I have here is what I tell sellers when I go and talk to them, right? I essentially tell sellers this. If you engage a partner, the chances are you're bringing in someone who's got deep expertise in that industry. Like most of the partners, GSIs have multiple practices, but most of the partners outside of GSI specialize in a few industries. So you have deep knowledge in that industry, right? A lot of our sellers may or may not know that, right? So it is very beneficial for them to have someone with deep industry expertise coming in. You can also have reference customers in that industry that you can point to, which is beneficial for the account team to use, right? A lot of the GSIs have relationships with business decision makers within customers, right? That, again, is something very useful for Microsoft. Microsoft's sweet spot traditionally has been the IT departments, right? We've been building the muscle to have the relationships with the BDMs. If you have relationships in the BDMs, that's something that the Microsoft team will value a lot, right? So that's something you need to kind of talk about and emphasize, right? Then the other things are pretty obvious, right? Having you as extended arm of our selling force and our technical force allows us to scale, and that's something that our sellers recognize. They have quotas to retire, right? The more accounts they can reach and the more warm accounts they can engage in, that gives them an opportunity to kind of do more, right? And then our goals are pretty aligned, right? So those are the main things that I wanted to kind of touch on in this slide. And I wanted to close off with showing a few different partner examples that tells about how the vision and value workshops and this funded engagements are landing in the field, right? I have examples for you from around the world. We have Fusion 5, which is a really good partner from the ANC area, Australia, New Zealand area. They've been using this, and you can see what they're telling here, right? It's been very effective for them. Early days of putting this out, but that is feedback we are getting. We have a partner, Veripark, which focuses on the financial services sector, mostly in the EMEA region. And they do business around the world, but they've focused primarily in the EMEA region. And they've done a good number of these funded engagements, and this is what they have to say about that. And the last one I have is a partner from a LATAM area, right? Nexer Brazil. They again have been using this, and it's been very effective for them. So this is what I wanted to leave you with. I'm available here and over email. Feel free to reach out to me if you have additional questions. I will pass it on to Keith. Thank you.
We get really excited and we tend to go long, so forgive us. If you take one thing away here from these actions, subscribe to, it's at the very last line on there, subscribe to our partner newsletter. We send this out monthly. It's an update of all the latest things that we've got going on, programs for you, content, everything in between. So subscribe to that, opt into receiving it. It's once a month. Also our LinkedIn channel. But take a look at our Partner Hub as well. If you were in Brian's session earlier, you heard Becky say Partner Hub is where we give you as partners all the same material we're giving to our field. So there's a one-to-one match in you telling the same story and having the same narrative. So a lot of good information there. Capture that and definitely take advantage of some of those things. And finally, appreciate your time. Thanks for listening to us. It's late. Everyone's getting hungry, ready for happy hour. But thank you for being here. Feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to answer questions. Thanks, everyone.